Right. Fair enough. And the final question we'll end with something a little interesting, a little funny, perhaps from your college and thereafter. I noticed you've been part of Phi Beta Kappa. So
Yes, that's
Greek life seems very interesting to me. Is there any funny, fun, interesting anecdote from college, perhaps from Greek life or thereafter, that you want to share with our viewers?
Yeah, I think I need to begin by offering a disclaimer, which is Phi Beta Kappa is not a frat. It is not the kind of Greek life you usually associate of frat houses and beer pong and parties. Phi Beta Kappa is an academic honors society, one of the oldest in the US, that you get invited to if you are one of the top students in your class. So I got invited in my penultimate year of undergrad. My junior year is one of 24 students in my class of 1,600 that got elected to Phi Beta Kappa. And it just involves sort of a ceremony, both when you get in as well as at graduation, and then invitations to various events that Phi Beta Kappa hosts, and requests to donate to the organization. So that's what Phi Beta Kappa is. There was actual Greek life at Harvard. There were both final clubs, which people might know from the social network, and fraternities and sororities as well. It's been a bit of a crackdown on that in recent years, on basically any sort of institution that only accepts people of a specific gender. But it definitely existed when I was there. And I think I was supremely confused by it to begin with, because I remember in my first week, we had orientation for all international students. And there was this lunch where people held up placards about different aspects of student life that you could go to and ask them questions about. And one person had something about Greek life. And I went over and I was like, explain to me how this works. And they were like, yeah, so, you get invited to attend, you go through a process where the current members of the frat will decide whether or not to include you. Once you're in, you then might have to pay some dues, and you do social service and so on. And I was like, wait, I'm confused. So what you're telling me is that Greek life is paying to have friends? Is that right? And at that point, I didn't get any deeper in my understanding, and I found community through my roommates, through the debate team, through other groups that I was a part of. But I think now, coming out of it on the other side, I do see the value of having a group of people that you are deeply engaging with, that you may live with, depending on which university you're in, that you form these deep connections and networks with. I think probably doesn't outweigh the concerns around alcohol abuse and the sexual abuse and violence that comes from it as a result of that. So on balance, I'm not the biggest fan of Greek life, but I now see why people do it.
All right, fair enough, Dhruva. And thank you so much for your time, Dhruva. It was lovely talking to you today, and lovely learning about your two initiatives, Lumiere and Leverage Assistance. And I hope they go from strength to strength. And I'm also hoping a lot of people take more interest in it, maybe through the podcast and through this conversation. And thank you for your time.
Thank you so much, Krish. This has been a really fun conversation, and I think in large part because of your thoughtful questions. So thank you so much. If any listeners are interested in getting in touch, my email ID is dhruva.bhat@lumiere.education. We can put that in the notes to the podcast, and I'd love to hear from anyone who's interested in learning more.